Welcome back to Sports Illustrated's College Football Weekly Show. I'm your host, Claudette Montana. It is week 13 of the college football season, so let's dive into some of our top storylines. There are only 3 teams that are still undefeated as we head into this final stretch of the college football regular season, and that is Oregon, Indiana, and Army. Oregon clinched a spot in the Big Ten championship game after a narrow win over Wisconsin. Indiana is 10-0 for the first time in program history, and they will face their biggest test so far this season against Ohio State on Saturday. And Army also will face their toughest opponent yet when they take on Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium. The Black Knights are a serious underdog heading into this game. All right, joining me now to break down our game of the week is Sports Illustrated senior writer Pat Forde. Pat, Indiana is taking on Ohio State. It's the first time Indiana is 10-0 in program history, but Ohio State is a pretty big favorite heading into this game. What needs to happen for Indiana to pull off an upset?
Well, Claudette, I think Indiana has to handle the moment first and foremost. This is the biggest game in school history. They're not used to games like this. Ohio State plays them just about every year. They're walking into 100,000 opposing fans and all the hoopla that's been built up around this game for 2 weeks. So can Indiana just maintain a level head and play its game? They don't have Ohio State's talent, but they do have some methods here. They got a really good quarterback in Curtis Rourke. They're an explosive team. They can make big plays offensively, and they're disruptive defensively. They get in the backfield, tackles for loss, quarterback sacks. I think they've got to avoid this snowballing on them early, which generally they've done. They have rarely trailed in games this year, so a good start and some calm execution, and we'll see what can happen.
Yeah, it should be an interesting game. We'll see what happens. Ohio State has beaten Indiana 28 straight times. The last time they lost was in 1988, so should be a good game on Saturday. It's now time for the switch up of the week, where we'll break down the biggest moves from the latest college football playoff rankings, and here is Sports Illustrated host Brice Butler.
There have been some massive changes to the top of the poll, with BYU taking a big L to Kansas. Crazy, right? They dropped 8 spots. They went from the 6th spot all the way down to the 14th. Their only hope is probably winning the Big 12 championship and trying to get back in that thing. So with that being said, we have Boise State at the 4th spot right now, being the projected Mountain West Conference champion. 2 spots ahead of BYU right now. The biggest loser is Tennessee. They lost in a 2-possession game to UGA. They are currently out of the top 12 bracket. We talked about UGA. They have to win out. They have to keep doing their thing. Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs, they won last week against Tennessee, obviously. So now they're back in the top 12. And we'll see what they do the rest of the season, as the SEC Conference has been nothing short of a nail-biter this year. And that's it for this week's Switch Ups.